Hi guys, a very good evening. And this evening we need to take a look on a certain letter which is right here, which is purported or allegedly coming from the military. And these are allegations. There's no confirmation whatsoever about the source of this letter, but it's believed that it's coming from the military. So Nehemiah Magziva says Saka Defense Forces uses Gmail account called zw.gov yakaiPay. This is a question, and we need to take a look on the contents of this letter. Something very sensitive is in that letter. We are concerned as citizens when you see such things happening. We have to actually talk about those things such that the authorities could resolve these matters, or they could actually give a clear position about what is really happening. So this is a letter with the letterhead of Zimbabwe Defense Forces, and everything is quoted, but it's not clear where this letter is going. Who is being addressed in this letter? But what is of concern is there is an email address, zimdefensepr@gmail.com. This is the email address which is right here, which is being used. This is the first case which we need to actually take a look on, and it's dated 16 May. So it reads that the Zimbabwe National Defense Forces continue to closely monitor the developing security threats in Zimbabwe, including the threats of hunger caused by the El Nino induced drought. We are monitoring the distribution of food aid to Zimbabweans, ensuring it is done on a strictly non-partisan, non-political, and non-tribal basis. The Zimbabwe National Defense Forces are monitoring the usage of the recently introduced Zimbabwe Gold ZiG currency, observing its printing, distribution, and general usage. One concern is the scarcity of ZiG currency in its physical form for use by Zimbabweans. A month after its introduction, the unavailability of ZiG notes and coins, in our view, will further degrade confidence in the currency amongst citizens. Strong recommendations are that relevant authorities act swiftly to avert any further loss of confidence in the currency. This is what is concerning us. They are actually directing the issue of policy or giving directives on the issue of policy, but this is not addressed to anybody. So after reading, we will need to conclude if this letter comes, or if this letter originates from Zimbabwe Defense Forces, or this is somebody who just sat down, took the logos together, and drafted his own thing. Let us continue to understand what is happening here. And they say the Zimbabwe National Defense Forces note the recent arrests of black market traders or money changers, including Neva Mchangwa, son of the Minister of Women Affairs, Community, Small and Medium Enterprises Development, Monica Mchangwa, and her husband, the chairman of the Zimbabwe National Liberation Veterans Association, Ambassador Christopher Mchangwa. The arrests are commended with the hope that the justice system will act accordingly to sentence the guilty as a deterrent to currency manipulators threatening the security of the nation. Then we have to also observe something here. It's not the Zimbabwe National Defense Forces, it's Zimbabwe Defense Forces. That is the correct term. So one would wonder why this is called the Zimbabwe National Defense Forces. I do not know if this is the correct term, because it's known this is Zimbabwe Defense Forces, it's Zimbabwe Defense Forces, but there is a continuous use of Zimbabwe National Defense Forces. And they say the Zimbabwe National Defense Forces noted the recent comments by Zimbabwe's Vice President, retired General Constantino Gouveia Dominic Nikadzino-Chiwenga, and the Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, Honorable Ziyambi Ziyambi, stating that there will be no sacred cows on protection for those sabotaging or manipulating the ZiG currency. This is commendable. The Zimbabwe National Defense Forces have noted the contents of a letter written by Ambassador Christopher Mchangwa that names a few individuals in the same illicit business as his incarcerated son. For the sake of transparency, the National Defense Forces request an immediate investigation into the said individuals. A recommendation is to widen the investigation and look into an individual by the name Tanya Rosina Rushesha on her involvement in the same line of illegalities. The Zimbabwe National Defense Forces requested the above matters to be dealt with immediately, as they form part of a threat to the country's security. The disquiet amongst our ranks on the matter continues to cause rifts. This is what they said. And it seems as if it was signed by the spokesman of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces per Zimbabwe Defense Force headquarters. What is my view on this letter? I can tell you without fear or favor that this letter is fake, and nothing like this is happening. This is what I can tell you. This is fake, and this is not happening. All the contents in this letter do not originate from the Zimbabwe Defense Forces. I have seen communiques from Zimbabwe Defense Forces in the past, and they do not look like this one. The language used, this is not a military language, and I can tell you that these are same people who are actually creating these things, then they send these things. But one problem which we have, which the authorities must address, is that we must have Zimbabwe National Army website back online. If you type www.zna.co.zw, you will not find that website. It's not there. That is the problem which we have, because all these communiques, if there is a communique sent, you just need to go to the website and check if that communique is available. That makes us able to actually detect wrong letters or fake letters or false letters and actual letters. But it also depends if this was written to the public. If it was written to the public, yes, the spokesperson might give clarity and that letter would be posted on the website, which means this is fake because it doesn't carry the weight it should. There is no any person named right here. Defense Forces always uses a name kuzazi kuti ndiani anyora munhu iyeye must be signed kuti zvanyorwa naningi ningi ningi ningi. And we would have seen Varakashi circulating it, we would have seen Kozwa circulating it. But the fact that they are not and is being circulated by someone else, this is true evidence that this does not originate rightly from the ZDF. The matters raised here are not matters which need a letter. These are matters which can be raised through even phone calls or meetings by the relevant authorities. And that is the reason why we have JOC. So JOC can sit and JOC can direct things. JOC forms also part of the police. The police will be there, the CIO will be there, the National Army will be there, and everybody will be represented, which means these are things which can be done through JOC and directives are given if there is need, which means this is false. These are simple falsehoods which are being spread right here, and it doesn't carry any substance. So the reason why I'm bringing it, because a lot of people are asking me and continuously pestering me to say, what do you think about this one? And I just made a decision to talk about this later so that we end it once and for all. I've given you my opinion. I do not know what other people think, and that is my honest opinion. If this letter was written to the authorities, this is the point I've left. If this letter was written to some authorities within government, it would have been signed not by the spokesperson. It would have been signed by somebody authorized to do so within the military. Kumilitary akungoti kumazvake ngoti ataura zvine zvabva kumusoro. The spokesperson only writes kana kune zviri kuenda to the public, and according to information inofana kuya to the public, this is not the information. And this is not how the information is sent to the public, because kune inonzi public relations itoriko military, which works and deals with all those issues, which means I don't see that the Zimbabwean military would sink so low to actually do all these things which are in this letter. So personally, I have dismissed it. Windway cables says Apanachos Kanwa. It seems as if he might be in agreement with this letter. But let me try to check if there is anything right here to suggest anything from Windwake cables about this thing. I see other things which are different, and it's something else. So, Hansi, definition of mediocrity, then you hear some zealous deep state charlatans saying Zim is state security when Gmail is used in such strategic organs. We laugh every day at the total mess. Wotonzwa Emerson achiganza kuti he set up Intel. Hapana kana one chiri secret uko. This is what Windhoek Cables is saying right here. And it seems as if he does have some knowledge. This guy is the guy who misled Anakasukwere at a certain point in time. Zvikanzi ungadade neIntel setup in inoshandisa Gmail in this day and age. Wototi uri president ari secure. Hapana chaunoitwa. Ndokuzungaira kwatinogara kutaura pano, and people think we like kushora. Musati chisidzire, hapana zviripo makumbo enyoka. Kana pasina zviripo makatize kuZimbabwe, you must come back to Zimbabwe kana pasina zviripo. One of the things I can commend about the Zimbabwean military is that we are safe as citizens, not from other threats, not we are safe from external threats. The only threats we have are internal threats from politicians. These are the threats we are not safe from. But when it comes to the issue of defense, when it comes to external threats, you can count on the Zimbabwean military. You can be guaranteed that these people will work and make sure that you are safe. Zimbabwean military does not communicate sensitive issues using Gmail. When you see them using Gmail, they are simply using other light things for communications, but when it comes to serious issue, even if they use Gmail or any other, they use anonymous codes, and those codes, it takes ages for you to break those codes, because the people who can interpret those codes are very, very special people, very well-trained people who know how to deal with these issues. And you cannot pick kuti ndiani anoziva macodes aya, which means these are people who are not easy even to convince to sell out that information, which is also a different thing. So I have tried by all means to tell you, this is fake, and in my own view, I see this as fake. I don't see any significance in this, but we'll continue to watch and see what's going to happen. Are we going to see the people mentioned being arrested? Personally, I do doubt. So let us meet in another episode.